Welcome to News You Missed, and this is your daily dose of global drama where the world burns, the market panics, and somehow crypto still finds its way to crash. Good morning, Paul. What's your first story this morning?
Good morning, Drew. Well, my first story, what can we say? We need to head over to Madagascar because it's all going off over there. Madagascar is in crisis as the military has seized power following the impeachment of President André Rajoelina. Colonel Michael Randrianirina announced the takeover on national radio, dissolving all institutions except the lower house of parliament. Randrianirina has fled the country, citing threats to his life, while opposition leaders and protesters call for constitutional dialogue. The unrest stems from months of demonstrations over poverty, corruption and shortages, with elite soldiers joining the protests and forcing the president's removal. Wow, Drew, this sounds like actually a country is getting rid of the muck in the swamp.
Well, that's what we want to hear, Paul, and hopefully that ripples around the world. Next up, Israel-Hamas ceasefire is in its second day. 20 final hostages have been released from Gaza, bringing emotional reunions in Israel. Fragile peace, any misfire could collapse it. For once, peace is trending higher than war. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Well, Drew, I'm heading over to Poland because they've got some woes going on there. Poland is calling on Germany to halt its criminal investigation into the 2022 Nord Stream pipeline sabotage. Polish National Security Chief says the probe goes against NATO's interests and refuses to extradite Ukrainian suspects held in Poland. Germany claims a group of Ukrainians carried out the attack, while Russia insists it was a state operation. Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk also criticised the pipelines, saying the problem was not the explosion, but that they were built in the first place. Wow, how the narrative has changed on this, Drew. First off, the Russians blew it up. Now it all turns out it happened inside the EU. Germany are not happy with Poland at the moment.
And FYI, Russia always gets the blame.
It's true, that.
And it's never them. Next up, President Donald Trump will hold a joint press conference today at 3 p.m. with FBI Director Kash Patel. Local law enforcement in Nebraska also seized 130 pounds of meth in a weekend traffic stop. The Nebraska State Patrol credited cooperation between state troopers and K9 units. Expect headlines from the Trump FBI event. It's rare and politically loaded. When Trump and the FBI share a stage, it's less law enforcement and more reality TV crossover.
Well, Drew, I'm staying on Poland because I'll tell you right now, they are causing a stir in Europe. Poland is pushing the EU to block Ukrainian steel imports, saying a surge of duty-free shipments is threatening its domestic industry. Imports jumped 27% in the first half of 2025 alone, putting pressure on local mills and raising calls for urgent government action. Polish officials argue Ukrainian steel avoids energy and environmental costs faced by EU producers. Warsaw plans to present an analysis to the European Commission and seek protective measures before broader EU rules take effect. This is something we're seeing quite major. Ukraine is flooding Europe with cheap products because they don't care what price they get. They just need to sell it to fund the war. It's crashing Europe. It's mad. This war is, dare I say it, destroying European economies.
Maybe that's the plan. Moving on, in Mentone, Texas, population under 100 residents claim a wave of unfamiliar newcomers has arrived, registering to vote and setting up tents and RVs. Locals fear it's a coordinated plan to seize control of the wealthy county government by the 2026 elections. Election officials are investigating voter registration scrutiny expected statewide. It's like a Netflix political thriller, except it's happening in a town smaller than most high schools.
Oh, Drew, this is sounding very interesting. Do you think the left have changed tactics? Rather than buying millions of votes, sticking them in a van and dropping them off at the 11th hour on an election, they're just paying to move people in now and take over all these small districts. It's an interesting one. We're going to have to keep an eye on this because this sounds like they might be changing tact. Well, my next story. A new poll suggests growing challenge to Ukrainian President Zelensky's leadership. Military intelligence chief Kirill Budnov and former armed forces commander Valery Zaluzhny both lead him in a hypothetical head-to-head matchup. Zelensky's support is slipping, with less than a third backing him in a multi-candidate scenario. His term officially ended last year, but he remains in power under martial law. Neither Budnov nor Zaluzhny has declared political ambitions, citing the ongoing conflict with Russia.
Next up, according to the Wall Street Journal, the US Army plans to deploy micro-nuclear reactors at military bases to ensure energy independence and resilience during grid failures. A big step towards self-sufficient defence infrastructure. Tiny nuclear reactors, because nothing says sustainable energy like putting mini Chernobyls next to the barracks.
That's an interesting one, Drew. I wonder if this is part of a bigger plan to renationalise energy production, because let's be fair, countries around the world are facing higher energy prices than ever. This might actually be a brilliant thing for the average person because they're not going to use it all. They're going to have leftover.
Well, it's definitely one to watch out for, another one to watch out for today.
Staying with Ukraine, President Zelensky has reportedly stripped several prominent figures of their citizenship, including Odessa Mayor Gennady Trukhanov, ballet star Sergei Polunin, and former MP Oleg Sarev. Zelensky confirmed signing a decree against certain individuals accused of holding Russian passports. All three have previously criticised Kiev's policies. Trukhanov denies having Russian citizenship and plans to fight the move in court, while Polunin and Sarev have long lived outside Ukraine. The decision marks Zelensky's latest crackdown on critics accused of ties to Moscow. Sounds like panic time for Zelensky.
Next up, data shows over 160,000 US government employees are now millionaires, more than double the number in 2022. Rising DC property prices only explain part of it. Critics call it proof of political privilege. Expect backlash as workers face furloughs while their bosses stay wealthy. Turns out the real inflation hedge was working for the government all along.
In Washington yesterday, President Trump posthumously awarded conservative activist Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom, America's highest civilian honour. Kirk's widow, Erica, accepted the medal at the White House Rose Garden ceremony, calling it the best birthday gift he could ever have. Trump praised Kirk as a martyr for truth and declared October the 14th his birthday, a national day of remembrance. Kirk, co-founder of Turning Point USA, was tragically killed last month while speaking at a Utah college campus.
And flying to Cameroon, President Paul Biya says he'll run again after 42 years in power. Opposition groups are calling for retirement. He's calling for campaign posters. He's 92, by the way. Expect unrest and election controversy. He's not just running for office, he's running from the calendar.
Wow. In a surprising move, Russia has handed over declassified Soviet-era files on the assassination of President John F. Kennedy to US Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna. The Russian ambassador delivered the 350-page report in Washington, saying many of the documents were first shared during Kennedy's 1963 funeral. Luna says a team of experts is now translating and reviewing the files, with plans to release key findings to the public. She's been pushing for full transparency in the decades-old mystery surrounding JFK's death and the role of Lee Harvey Oswald. Well, everybody, here we are. We're heading into the financial funnies. Hopefully we can entertain you, make you laugh, and understand what's going on out there in the world of finance. Drew, what's your first story?
Trump dropped a 100% tariff on Chinese imports. Markets instantly went into cardiac arrest. More price hikes, more global tension, make America great again, one expensive iPhone at a time.
Well, everybody, I've got a story that we need to keep a serious eye on. Big banks are getting in on the crypto craze. 10 of the world's biggest banks, including Goldman Sachs and Deutsche Bank, are testing G7 stablecoins, digital tokens tied to real currencies. Think of it as the financial equivalent of normal money, but with a blockchain twist. Regulators are sweating, bankers are sipping extra coffee, and your grandma is still trying to figure out what a Bitcoin is. Will these tokens shake up banking or just make accountants' lives more confusing? Only time and lots of spreadsheets will tell.
And over to the UK, Chancellor Rachel Reeves warned taxes are going up for fiscal resilience. The FTSE climbed anyway. Apparently, rich people like discipline when it's someone else paying. Britain's new slogan, keep calm and get taxed.
Japan is cracking down on crypto insider trading, and by cracking down we mean slamming the hammer so hard it might bounce off Mount Fuji. Regulators will soon penalise anyone using secret info to make a quick digital buck, and serious offenders could even face criminal charges. With nearly 12.5 million Japanese crypto holders, officials want to make the market safer and maybe stop your cousin from bragging about his totally insider Doge gains at family dinners.
Next up, Gucci Chloe Lowy was fined $157 million. EU regulators fined luxury brands for fixing prices. Doesn't matter, they'll just charge more for limited remorse editions. Somewhere someone's crying into their €4,000 handbag.
Good news, Britain. The IMF says the UK will be the second fastest growing G7 economy this year. The bad news, we'll also have the highest inflation because nothing says economic boom like paying more for your tea and toast. Growth is modest, just 1.3%, so don't expect to buy a yacht anytime soon. Chancellor Rachel Reeves promises to deal with it, while the rest of us just pray the price of electricity doesn't eat our weekend plans. So yes, we're doing well if your wallet can survive the ride.
And my wallet really isn't.
Drew, none of our wallets are surviving this. Well, I don't even know how any of us have still got a roof over our head in Britain because the jaws are closing in. But let's wait and see. Hopefully we can get them all out and get someone new in.
Over to BRICS. The BRICS club added Iran, Egypt, Indonesia, Ethiopia and the UAE. Planning to ditch the US dollar, expect new currency tensions. It's like forming an anti-dollar Avengers, but half of the heroes can't agree on a team name. And moving to Iraq, Iraq can't pass a budget, but it's buying more gold. Not great, economic gridlock looms. It's like maxing out your credit card and then buying gold bars to feel better. And in Vietnam, 6.6% growth, 7.7% wage hikes, record insurance profits. Asia's manufacturing superstar keeps rising. Vietnam's doing capitalism so well it's starting to embarrass its old teachers. And Zimbabwe's launching crypto-backed bonds to fix its currency. Could stabilise or implode spectacularly. Trust me, it's backed by crypto. Famous last words. And the US hit Canadian trucks with 25% tariffs. Economic chill north of the border. Canada's too polite to retaliate and they'll just send passive-aggressive maple syrup. And lastly, after losing $20 billion last week, Bitcoin bounced to $112,000. It's a relief rally for now. Crypto is the only market where losing billions is called a healthy correction.
Well, Drew, let's head over to our Hackers Corner and find out what's going on out there in the world of scams, in crypto, finance, you name it. In what might be the ultimate crypto oink, the DOJ has seized $15 billion in Bitcoin from a massive Cambodian scam nicknamed pig butchering. No, it's not a new barbecue craze. It's a scheme where scammers lured people online with fake romances and crypto promises, making up to $30 million a day. The mastermind, Chen Zi, is still at large, probably hiding behind a digital wallet somewhere. Either way, the US now has a crypto piggy bank worth billions, and it's finally in Uncle Sam's hands.
And TA585 using fake captures to drop monster V2 malware. Hackers hijack Discord webhooks to steal developer data, and Android's pic snapping exploit steals 2FA codes. RM Apocalypse, Tiny AMD flaw breaks cloud security, and Chinese hackers hid malware in ArcGIS software for a year. The outlook, rising cyber attacks, shrinking patience. So patch your stuff, lock your accounts, and if your password is still password 123, please just log off and think about your life choices. Until next time, keep your firewalls high, your cookies cleared, and remember, on the internet, trust no one except maybe me on Patreon.
Well, everybody, that brings us to the end of the news for today on, wow, the 15th of October. It's Wednesday. Guess what? It's Insiders Club tonight. And trust me, we've got a good guest on tonight, Ishmael Perez, who's going to dive deep into everything going on out there. And for all those out there who want to join us live and be able to ask questions, head over to charlieward.com. Sign up there and join us live every Wednesday and Saturday. So all that's left for me to say is to take care, God bless, and see you all soon. Bye now.
Bye-bye.